As many of you know, for a number of years, a lot of different divisions have had Hall of Fames. They've had different ceremonies to recognize people of natures like that. And something that was brought to my attention when I arrived here in Division III was basically the fact that we didn't have a Hall of Fame. I had the pleasure of being down in Division II this last year and had a ceremony where they inducted some folks in the Hall of Fame. And one of the first things I kind of thought about was, at the time, down at Atlanta Dragway where I was at, we didn't even have that. So, believe it or not, one of the first couple of discussions I had with Kenny and Nisa and something with Jeff that I'd brought up was, where do we stand on Hall of Fame? And he goes, well, I've never really thought about it. Did a little research and realized that there hasn't been a true formal group. I actually gave Jay Hollinger a call of all things and said, Jay, what do you know about it? And long story short is there was an old timers club, never really truly a Hall of Fame. So kind of took it upon ourselves and we thought, let's start off with something small and simple and something that we hope is going to grow into something pretty neat for everyone down the road. Appreciate everyone joining us tonight as we start the 2018 North Central Division Hall of Fame. And tonight we'd like to honor those that have contributed and influenced everyone in this division and throughout the sport with their years of dedication, service, and loyalty. As we're going to kick things off here with our first inductee, and it's kind of a unique situation with this person. Met them this year, probably for the first time, I would say about 3 or 4 months ago. Struck up a conversation with this gentleman and didn't really believe the knowledge that he possessed. And at the time, the value that he brought to us, just thought, well, it's another person on our team, someone else that helps out with what we do, someone that's a part of the Division III CERT team. So as we start kind of narrowing things down, I realized that our first inductee had been involved with us for over 50 years. And for a lot of folks to realize that there's someone that's been a part of our team for over 50 years is a pretty monumental side of things to deal with us, the racers, everything that we went through. The amount of knowledge that this gentleman has would amaze you. The stories that you would hear, the things that would be brought up, the simple equations, the simple question about an index, what was legit back in 1973, or the 1978 U.S. Nationals. If you wanted to know about round 3 of competition there, who qualified on the bottom half and whatever the situation was, this gentleman was the person that would be the one to go to. In 1996, he became the first member, or became one of the first members of the NHRA Safety Safari for finding an illegal delay box. So in the modern day of things, I think there was something on Facebook somewhere where actually there was a picture that we found of this gentleman gladly standing there with a delay box like it was his big game hunt. So one of his crowning achievements that happened down in Rockingham, North Carolina. This person has given their time to ensure the success of the division, regional and national events for over 50 years. This time, the first member of the official North Central Division Land of the Winners Hall of Fame, a gentleman that has 50 years of service in here in 2018, Mr. Travis Miller.
Set that over on the table and have a few words for us.
A few words. Can I do this in a few words? A lot of people tell me that, well, you sure worked hard today. Well, I tell them that how much better a job could a guy have to get paid to look at race cars? So, yes, I've seen a lot of stuff change over the years. Been involved in some of the rules, getting those changed. But the main thing that I'm concerned with is that the racing is done safely and fairly. So, thank you all very much.
And as we set up for our second inductee into the Hall of Fame, you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, wow, where's he going to be going with this? Because for a lot of us, it's kind of tough to sit there and decide. And I think there was about 5 or 6 of us that actually knew about everything going on with the Hall of Fame. The list of people that have had an influence in the North Central Division, I think could go on for days. And I think we could have discussion after discussion about folks that have the right to be there, that deserve to be there, that need to be there. So realize with our first 3 folks that we picked, We wanted to represent folks that were here now, those that have been with us, and those that will be with us down the road, and those that have paved the way. So that kind of ties into our second inductee into the Hall of Fame. And it'll be a memory of someone of the NHRA family who was taken from us way too soon. And over the course of a 37-year career, the man dedicated himself to the NHRA and was known and respected by many. His distinct voice, vast knowledge of NHRA sportsman racing made him the fan favorite and fans alike. Although he left us way too soon, his memory and the influence that was left on us in the North Central Division will always remain. At this time, please help us in honoring the voice of the land, the winners, the late Leo Tower, as our second inductee into the Hall of Fame. And I'd like Brad Bushell to come to the stage and accept on Leo's behalf.
Oh, this reminds me of last year.
Here, we'll set this right here for
you. I don't think Leo met anybody he didn't love. His best friends in the back of the room there. Red man. Red waves, they see ya. Okay. I was just thinking about the trophy I got last year, and I know a lot of you don't want to hear me talk, especially Marty Thacker. And I just think how proudly it would have been that there's an award named after him. So this is for you, my friend.
And one of the funny things about Leo, and I don't know if a lot of folks know about where I've came from on the whole deal, but it actually started in about 1996 announcing. And through the years, I actually got introduced to Dennis Weiniger. I think it was the UDRA that was at our local track back then where I was at. And he told me about the Track Announcers Guild. And I thought, okay, I'd like to be a part of this. You know, I'm a kid, I like racing. That's what it's all about for me. I did really not, how do I want to put it, my racing just really wasn't that great. So I focused on something that I could actually do, and the announcing was something I enjoyed. So with Leo, he was one of the first guys in the group besides Dennis to kind of, and along with Nick Agresta too, that just kind of opened their arms and said, look, we don't know who this kid is, but he's here, he's got enthusiasm. And one of the things that Leo always would preach and always tell me is always to perfect your craft. So whenever I hear that word or hear a line of that, of something like that, that reminds me of Leo and what his memory will be and always be to everyone else part of the Division III family. So that was just kind of a little bit of a tidbit I wanted to add, that why Leo was one of those folks that found his way into this first round of the Hall of Fame. And it moves us down to our third and final inductee into the Hall of Fame. And it's kind of one of them ones that I don't think it'll be any surprise, but it may surprise those that are involved. Our third and final inductee into this, he was raised in the sport. He had racing roots that went years into the beginning stages of everything at Bunker Hill Dragway. His years spent there were the foundation of what Division III is now based upon, and has set the bar so high that I don't even think I'll ever be able to obtain getting near that bar. And joining the NHRA in 1987 as the 4th Division Director of the North Central Division, this man has led the busiest division, developed a strong network of member tracks, and celebrated many successful seasons of leadership. His words of encouragement, guidance, influence, and support to everyone, including myself, over the years, was now recognized with inducting into the Hall of Fame Mr. Jay Hollinger, the third and final inductee into the North Central Land of the Winners Hall of Fame.
I don't know, 175 points races, and 30 years later, I have become a Uber driver for my grandsons, Cameron and Atticus. And it was a lot of fun for 30 years, and I'll tell you, this is a lot of fun with these kids now. And I'm just so proud of the Land of the Winners. Division III is home to some of the best racers, best racing families in the business. And I couldn't be more proud of what all of you do here in the Land of the Winners. Thank you.